morning, everybody. You're welcome to another episode of Just a Chat with Bumi Alabi. It's been an amazing week and at the same time, a roller coaster week full of different emotions. You know, a lot of things that have been happening lately, but all the same, I'm grateful to God for the gift of life. I'm grateful to God for another privilege to be here today to share our thoughts on everything going on. So you're welcome to Just a Chat with Bumi Alabi. And as usual, I'm not alone here. I have some like-minded people who are going to join me live today. And for the very first time, I have a male in the house. In fact, the two of them, you know, this is the first time they'll be coming online, but I have a male in the house who's going to be joining me live today. So join me as I welcome my co-host and our guest of honor. You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, I think maybe from my extreme end there, let me just introduce this beautiful princess, this damsel looking gorgeous here. She'll introduce herself.
Hello everyone, good morning. My name is Kemi Kalejai. I am the CEO of Emoji World and also a project manager in Vicamos Engineering Services. I'm a civil engineer. You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay. Like I said earlier to my Facebook audience that you're still going to tell us how you migrated from being a civil engineer to an entrepreneur. Maybe that'll be for another time.
I'm ready to do that.
Yeah, but I really celebrate you. I celebrate the grace of God. You are a very strong woman. I really admire you from afar, you know, but getting close to you, you know, I learned a lot from you. I know you are a woman of substance. So I celebrate you, ma'am. Okay, and to my side here. Here we have a perfect gentleman here. He's very shy, you know, but when he's in front of people, you know, that shyness disappears. I don't know where it goes to, you know. I've sat with him, I've learned a lot from him. He's a man that I really celebrate the grace of God upon his life, full of intelligence, and, you know, let me just leave him to introduce himself. So here I have my guest, and the first time I'm going to be having male in the house. So you're welcome, sir.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you are not sweating, because he said I'm bringing him to the office, so he said I should get him an handkerchief.
I think
we are here to gist now.
I find consolations in the fact that I'm among the grace mind. Good morning, everyone out there. Thank you for having me, Mrs. Alabi. I want to appreciate you for a great job doing. I'm sure that somebody out there will learn something. My name is David Akimlejo. I'm a business coach, leadership expert, and the principal consultant of Impeccable Consulting. Okay. And I'm also a parent. And so I think what we are going to be discussing today, we have to look at in that part.
Yeah, it's a privilege to be a parent,
yes,
and for the back, as in a 21st century parent, as a matter of fact, and it's a privilege. Yes. You know, like I said earlier, that the week has been full of different issues that has been happening, going on social media, and in fact, it got to a time, you know, before I try to just think of, okay, anytime I hear about an issue, I try to just think of, okay, what can we, because everything happening in a couple of days now, it's been in line with what we've been discussing. If you've been joining us online, you know, for the past 2 weeks now, we've been talking about challenges of 21st century parenting, and you know, looking at the scenarios of everything happening some days back now, it has to do with family setting, generally family setting. So everything we're going to discuss today would be in line, would be directed to the issue, the recent issue of the Chrisland pupil, and I want us to just talk about our views, and you know, it's not just to share what happens and everything, but what is the way forward? What is the way forward? And that's why we're talking. We chose the topic behavioral pattern of a child. As in, is it determined by the home or the society at large? Because there's no way, you know, for a society, it's comprised of the individual from the home. Like the home is the foundation of every individual in the society. in different sectors, the government, the education, the arts, different sectors, as in different people from different homes make up a society, and different people have different behavioral patterns which determine the quality of the society we have. So let's start from the topic, behavioral pattern of a child. What can you really say about that behavioral pattern of a child? I think we need to just analyze that first. Yeah, let me start from.
Okay. Behavior pattern is just about what determines the disposition of every child and how they relate to the issues and how they're able to perceive things around them. At the end of the day, it is positive or negative, so to say. So their dispositions, what informs it, what informs how,
what makes up a child.
Yes, you understand. In a home setting, that's just what that behavioral pattern is. Of course, they are experts, who go to school to actually learn this. There are psychologists who go to school to learn these. But I've gone to realize that there is a place of expert when it comes to, for example, a professor of law and a practicing lawyer. They do different things. Yeah. So I've gone to discover that sometimes as a parent, we have to understand this part of our child for us to maximize parenting. It's not just having an expert to give you ABCD, because every child is unique. And so how do you, if you have 3 kids or 3 children, how do you navigate and make sure that each of them, according to their disposition and behavior, you're able to maximize it and come up with something good? That's what parents should learn. So to say, let me just stop here.
Okay. Parents should know individual ability, as in each child's capability and person, and not to even compare.
Very well.
Yeah, comparing. Even if you have like maybe a twin, the 2 of them will have different behavior. Have you ever noticed that? Yeah. The 2 of them, they have different behaviors, and you can't expect them to act in the same way. Okay. All right. What can you say about that?
I will firstly say that parenting in this 21st century, it's for strong minds, strong hearts parents.
Not just for anybody.
Not just for,
that to be a parent, as in to be able to birth a child, is different from being a parent.
Yes. Because most people don't understand this. When people are quick in birthing a child, but they don't, they don't have that capacity, capability to be a parent. Parenting is not a joke. Let me put it that way. Parenting is not an act of what you just take with levity. There's some parents that, like what he said, that twins, when 2 twins that they gave birth to them the same day from the same womb for 9 months, they have 2 different characters. But some parent doesn't see it that way. They will always you have to be like how your second is doing. After all, you guys are twins. Why are you behaving different? So they don't sit down to study on how to help these 2 to become the good child that they ought to be. Yes.
I think I picked something from what you said now, as in to birth a child is cheaper than parenting a child. The cost of parenting a child is quite more expensive than even giving birth to a child.
To birth a child is just within a space of 9 months. Then after that, parenting starts from there till.
I think we really need to understand factors that even determines the behavioral pattern of a child. From my research, I discovered that there are different, 3 major factors. Like we have the environmental factor, like the type of home a child is coming from, the background of the home, the setting, the environment the child grows up to be, what kind of things happens in the environment. Some people, like a child that grows up, maybe, for instance, maybe agege. I say agege, so I know you can't really say, okay, you have to just behave in a way, but there are some areas, or ajegunle, that okay, there's a way children that are raised in that environment should behave compared to a child that is raised in Banana Island, Ikoyi, you know, the environment will determine, or what do you feel? The environment will determine their behavior. I believe you've stayed in some areas that are, I think you had that experience. I'm coming to that, but let me just land on this. You know, like the environment factor, which is the, you know, the way, the environment where the child grows up, then biological factor, personality, as in the gender, the way a boy is expected to behave, and the way a girl child is expected to behave. Then interpersonal factor, as in the personality of the child, the attachment style of the child. You know, the way the child is attached to his or her parent or caregiver, that one also determine the behavioral factor of a child. Now, let's even talk about children and that environmental factor. Children that are raised in a kind of environment that is, you know, like all this ghetto, and the child that is raised in a tush environment. Do you think, because I've had series instance whereby a girl was, I have there 2 different girls, the 2 of them were raised in the same environment, and the 2 of them have different personalities. So, you know, I was trying to say, okay, so the other one that has a kind of negative personality and behavioral pattern, she was like, oh, my environment influenced me negatively. And the other one that tried to, you know, maintain a positive behavioral pattern said, at least it's still the same environment that I grew up. So how do you think that's really affect? Is it easy? Because she was like, okay, I had to bend to the rule of my environment to change my behavioral pattern. So what can you say about that?
The topic, who determine the behavioral pattern of a child, is it the parent or the environment or the society? You know, to me, it is the parent that determines. You
feel it's the parent?
Parent.
Okay, you can have different views.
Yes, it's parent that determines, but environment can influence. So it is not the works of a parent in determining how it's formed that will able to shape in that influence, not to have a negative effect on the child. You are not raised, your child is not raised on the street. It's coming from a home. Every child is coming from a home. So the home you are coming from should determine how you behave in a natural sense, but it can be influenced by our environment. Now, what you put inside your child will not determine whether the influence will be negative or positive. So you're able to choose between the good and the bad when you get out there. But to determine it is a major responsibility of a home. And I want to say this because even we in the church, I forget to mention, I'm also a pastor by the grace of God. Okay. When I was doing my counseling for getting married, there was no cause for parenting in marriage counseling. And it's very wrong. We talk about everything, but we don't talk about parenting. We talk less.
For people who are going into, I think like we should take note of that.
It's very
parenting
key.
Is important.
It's important.
Except they don't want to be a parent in that
that's what I wanted to say. You won't want to say without having a child. In fact, the prayer will now begin to start.
People I want to live as in at least to.
You understand?
Okay, but I get your point.
So a course should be dedicated for that. People should know how to parent. All right, the people that have been there for years and then they are now forming that committee or whatever you go to. Even when you are not maybe you are not a Christian, you go to counseling sessions in the court, whatever. There should be sessions for parenting. All right, so that environmental factor, it actually is an influence. Whether it's going to be positive or negative from the child is a function of what he has received from the parents. Because we are all going to be in the society. There are people who go to society who are in the environment who are not influenced. You said 2 people raised in the same environment but behave differently. So what happened? Someone assimilates or takes something inside that refuses to allow what is outside to influence him or her negatively. And another one said, no, I will go by the influence of the environment. So it's a major functions of what goes on at home.
So your home belief now is the parent is the one that determines.
Yes, it's the parent that determines.
Okay, what's your view about that?
Yes, I will go with him, but I would like to explain something. Like what you say that the child that has been brought up at the from a tush environment, so to say, and the one that is being brought up from a ghetto, so to say, that's the behavior, their behavioral pattern might be different. I don't believe in that. Okay. Because like what you said that two different people that are being raised in the same society and they have two different character, two different behavioral patterns. And you know, somebody being raised as a body, like what you said, might not be because from the way I perceive it from you, that maybe he or she will have the best behavioral pattern compared to the person that is being raised from the ghetto. No,
because he has everything accessible, as in at his disposal.
Yes, but that doesn't determine, and it doesn't bring out the best out of the child. That is the issue some parents have. Some parents that believe that they have everything. They believe that let me go work to get what all my children need to be comfortable, and they believe that if they are comfortable, they will definitely be a great person. No, that is a fatal no, as in it's an error in parenting. Like what he said, that instilling discipline in a child from home. Because there is a saying that said charity begins at home. But Yoruba says it well. I'm sorry for those people that doesn't understand Yoruba. He said, Ile Latin ko esho rode. Where is the ode? The ode is the society.
Outside.
The Ile is where the esho, let me just starts from. That is Ile. You take whatsoever that you've been taught at home, whatsoever that's been instilled in you at home, to the society. Who are the people in the society? We are the people in the society. Everyone in the society came out of a particular home with what is being instilled in us.
Them from home.
Yes. So the foundation must be corrected. When the foundation is not right, there is an issue, and that is what we are seeing in the society. Most parents doesn't have time for their children.
I think let's continue from that, because you made mention of something that, you know, people that raise their children from this comfortable environment, even people that don't, people like us, like 21st century parents, you know, with the system around now, you know, a lot of us don't really have that time for our children, because we believe that, okay, environment and situations around us made us is so challenging that we have to go out to provide for the needs of our children. You want to make them comfortable, because sometimes we believe that, okay, if a child doesn't have everything he or she needs, you know, he might go wide. He might say, oh, because I don't have this, because I had to do this because my parent couldn't provide for my needs. You understand? So as a 21st century parent, you know, how do you strike that balance? We have to go out to work to make these children comfortable. Is it a crime to now say, okay, I want to work, I want to do some things, I can't be at home every 24 hours? You know, it's not every parent that can be an entrepreneur that will be at home. You have to go out. You understand? So you don't have that access, that 100% time to stay with your kids. So is it a crime to now say, okay, you want to make your children comfortable, compared to just neglecting them, or maybe just trying to allow them to grow? Somebody said something that children that grows up in the ghetto, their brain they grow up smarter, because, you know, they've seen every challenges in the environment. And, you know, so how do we now strike that balance, trying to provide everything for our child so that they don't maybe deviate from the training we've given them?
Yeah, you see, let me first of all mention also to all the viewers out there, parenting is work.
Sure.
It's not that we are coming to just get married and say, okay, that's all. It's work. We have to be conscious. All of the things you analyze is all boiled down to parenting. You see, you can't provide, you say provide everything for your child. That is the issue. Everything for your child.
Basic things.
I understand where you're going.
Have you heard children who, you know, children, you know, they have so much pressure going on around when they go outside. In school, they see children, like my children, my son was always telling me that, oh, I need to buy this for, I need to buy a phone for him, because all his friends in school, they have phones. And so I think we're going to talk about that. Gadgets, you understand, gadgets, their access to gadgets, you know. How does this really affect our children? But let's talk about this, satisfying our children. To what extent do we satisfy them to make sure that, okay, they are comfortable? Because you try to provide them with phones so that they won't be pressured by their environment. So Is it part of...
Let's strike the balance on the first question you mentioned. You need to get your children comfortable. At the same time, you have to work. And you said no parent wants to stay at home 24 hours. The children are also not going to be at home 24 hours. They are going to school. All right. So, and I do tell my wife, you can't eat your cake and have it. It is actually not going to help for the two parents to hit the road and come back in the night, leaving the children. To be very candid, we have to sacrifice. And if one, I believe that one that is, if you are a salary earner, and then your wife also is salary earner, it should be less. Maybe that will give the person time to come back home and access the children. Otherwise, get her something that will be able to close and determine the time to close by herself to go and I take care of the children. No, I have a brother-in-law and sister-in-law in the US. The husband was telling me sometimes last year. He said, I didn't allow my wife to work. And people were like, how do you want to survive in America? I said, because I cannot imagine my children being raised the way these people have been raised here. That I have to sacrifice. That my wife will be at home doing entrepreneurial work, send something home and do business. But for me, I will go. And he sent me a picture of the car he bought for his wife, doing it alone. That's for
a man who has accepted to take responsibility. But if the man is trying to make ends meet and is not able to meet, you need to be realistic with this.
I'm going to that.
And the wife is earning more. Maybe the wife, like a civil engineer, you are earning more, and the husband is still just trying to make ends meet. And you are telling me that I should drop my career job that is giving me money.
No. Let's strike a balance.
Let's be realistic.
We hide under this thing sometimes, and then the effect will not be on our children at the end of the day. Whether we like it or not, they are going to grow. Whatever we put inside of them, they will see.
What they
and a lot of parents want to receive what they did not put there. They want to expect what they did not put there. And so when the child starts misbehaving outside, say, maybe for example, the Kenyan, you can't greet. Did you teach him or teach her how to greet? It's an insult for you to say, can't you greet? If you know, you should greet. That's what I tell myself. So you are expecting something you did not put there and then to just exhibit it. Now, let's go back to what you said. What you said earlier on, okay, what if the wife is earning better than the husband? Then there will be a balance. It's an understanding.
Yes.
One has to step down a bit to adjust so that the person comes up. But in this part of the world, cultures and many other things, where that is not to be talked about. Is something that determines a lot of things that women. So men are always being in charge. How can your wife be? It's wrong.
Yeah.
I said to people, Okonjo well, a house husband. But I've never seen a husband in the public space like I see her. And I believe she earned better than him. But they are doing well. She always talk about her husband. Ubukuna Woshika is the same thing. He's a woman too now, and he's talking about home front well. It's an understanding. You can't eat your cake and have it. For you to say because I want to take care of my children, me I hit hand, I must provide, and then your child or your children they are suffering. You are going to be blamed at the end of it. There has to be a sit down. The two of them have to sit down. And
how many men, like African men, would be comfortable? African men, they are egoistic. That's why we brought a man here. They're egoistic. They believe that, how will my wife be putting money on the table? We're still talking about behavioral pattern, that what determines, and as in based on what you say, that the family, the home. Okay, in a family whereby the father has a job to do, maybe 8 to 5, 8 to 9 or whatever, and the mother too has the job to do, and the children are left in the care of maybe caregiver, nannies and everything. Obviously, the children will have the behavioral pattern that is instilled by the caregiver because they spend more of their time with them. You understand? So how many African men are ready to agree or to stay on the compromise level with their partner that, okay, I think I'm the one, you are earning better than me, then I'm ready to sacrifice myself to stay with the kids.
You see, the stage.
Let's say.
Do you know the funniest thing in this society that we have? Even when your child is doing something wrong, when your child is out of it's out of normal, people blame the wife, the woman. They expect that the woman should be okay. Like that issue of the Chrisland. Did you see the father come out? No.
The mother came out because she had to bear the shame.
That is it.
And do you know
what the man will have even be saying to the woman? You can see your life. That is one of what men will say. Do you see your life now? Do you see your child? Even if the child is a male, they will still say, do you see your child? Do you see your life?
They'll blame the
mother. It will now be your life. So this thing, we all need to sit down. Most especially men. In all this campaign, have you ever seen the percentage of men coming out to talk against this?
Yeah.
Can't you see that is very, very low?
Very low.
Because they've put all these responsibilities to the women.
To build a home, they believe that it's the woman. And I always say that marriage is a teamwork, whereby the man and the woman come together to reach an agreement that, okay, this is the kind of home we want to build.
Yes.
And this is my responsibility, this is your responsibility. Okay, these are the things that are comfortable, that I think it's okay for me. Then, you know, you talk about it, but a lot of time we don't talk about it. Just, okay, I want to get married, just get married. This is why I said I recommend premarital counseling, because in counseling we talk about roles, taking up roles, who is going to be available for children, because you know you are raising a new family, you are raising different as in personality, and the quality of life they grow up to be as an adult is determined by the quality of things you put in them as a child, both the man and the woman. Yes. You understand? But a lot of us, you know, we try to shift blame. Okay, the woman, you are the one that should take responsibility. The man, you are the one that should take responsibility. So I think it's high time you men, you come out.
Yes.
Yes,
okay.
It's high time, because maybe a lot of you don't want to really accept some responsibility. You believe that,
yes.
okay, my whole me that have been going out the money to look for a job. Excuse me, you are doing it, I'm doing it too. You are going out, you are always talking about you are going to provide for the family, but we are doing this thing together. So you don't now leave one job and say, okay, it is your own duty to do it. So maybe you will speak on behalf of men. Why don't even men want to come out? Like the issue of Osinachi, some men were also raising some things that, okay, how about men that have been abused? That they don't. I say, why don't you talk about? Why don't they come out? You know. So I think you need to. Is that time you raise campaign on how to take your responsibility as a man in the home? You know, when things are not, as in be a voice. So why don't you guys?
I'm happy that we have this platform to speak. And I believe that a lot of men are watching, or possibly will watch after this broadcast. The reality we are facing in our society, we have to change the narratives.
Okay.
I mean, this idea of putting the home blame on women has to stop. And this thing do not start now. When the woman, permit to go to use the story of the Bible, that was caught in the very act. They caught him in the very act, was brought to the master. They said we caught her, and I was asking, where is the man? Did he commit adultery with herself? It was committed by a man. Where is the man? And like I said off screen, sometimes we have a discussion with your husband. We talk, and I said I've never seen, like you said, I've never seen men coming out to talk about violence against women should stop. This one against children should stop. It's only women I see protesting. Is it that the men are supporting the act? All right. If you are a man, you are watching me now. Please stop violence against women. Be responsible. Don't abuse children. Be responsible for once and take responsibility. Don't put blames on anyone that should not be put blame on. A lot of things that women are experiencing today, they are caused by men. You know, this egoistic stuff. Excuse me, if your ego will not put something on the table, get off your ego. What are you egoing for? What is ego? Please tell me. Every woman to have ego. Every human being have ego. So don't make your own ego to be more. It's African culture. I'm sorry to say. Where the man is determined that when women are talking, women should keep quiet. And I said the woman doesn't have mind. He can't think on himself. On herself. So that era of saying women are to blame for everything, like he said, this one that is happening now, they blame women. You didn't train your child, your child is wrong. It's a co-work. In fact, it has been proven in statistics that a child that is raised with two parents alive is different from a child that is raised with only one parent. Because the father figure, now also a child that is raised by only the father and the one that is only the mother, you realize the percentage. You understand?
Those children.
However, let's draw this balance so that the women also will understand. I told my wife, there is an internal link between a woman and the child. Why? It is the breast you suck. There is this link that is there, and that has to be used and maximized well. But it comes to a time where the man also has to be, no. Sometimes, especially boys, if you are raising boys, it is time to begin to raise them and bring them out to be an irresponsible man. You know, can't you talk to him? And I said to my wife, you can also. But I realized that
as a boy
yes,
child.
as a boy. I realized that sometimes as a father, when you issue some certain instructions, the boy, they see differently. Oh, that's my daddy talking. If, for example, you have a child, because all of this is behavior pattern, you have a child that is so hyper and so hypersensitive and active, so to say, and the one that is, I've been obsessed with a child, just every time lock up himself or herself in the room. He doesn't come out to come and read, to come and play. He just book every time, just sit down there. And like, can't you behave yourself like, can't you see the way he's behaving? It's all about parenting that we don't lack. Why should you compare? That's a person in our place or in his place. This is person. So you are the one as a parent. All of those things we are talking about is a product of proper parenting, which is a cause everyone should go and learn.
Yes.
Because what you don't have, you can't give. So all this casting blame on women, casting blame on everything is because there's no skill. Now, all of these things that came on screen when the Christland issue is, to me, that should not have come on screen. The woman shouldn't have come out. It has happened.
You feel she shouldn't have come out?
It shouldn't have come out. It has happened. The thing is that you fail. That's what I'm saying as a parent.
Do you know the most annoying thing? In fact, I didn't even see a video earlier. It was later that I saw the video and I was like, what's this woman saying? Because like she was looking for a kind of self-pity that please help me Nigeria. They help you Nigeria for what? You have failed as a mother. You are saying we should help you. Because what you mentioned something that as a male child, you look at the father. One thing I believe is, for every functional home that maybe the father figure is there, the mother is there, and they have different gender as children, the father should see himself as a kind of model, as in a father figure that the boy child will look up to. Because number one, he could connect himself to you that, okay, this person has everything as in physically according to what I have, so I could see something related to him. And as a girl child, he looks up to the mother and say, okay, I want to do this. You see some girl child, they try to make up like their mother, they do something like, so they learn. So we should, when we see ourselves that, okay, we are the figure that we are like a mirror to our child. As a parent, you see yourself that I'm a mirror that mirror the kind of life this child will be. Can you ever say you pray that your child should have the same character you exhibit as a mother? Can you confidently say that I would like this girl child to grow up to become someone like me? Until you are confident to say that, then you are not a mother yet. Then you have failed to be a mother figure. And as a father, if you can't say that, oh, I want my son to grow up to be a confident, to be like me, to be a responsible father like me, until you can say that, then you have failed as a father. So this is where each person needs to understand their role, that yes, we are the first mirror. We are the first one these children see. As in, you raise them. There's this research that says from the womb, from pregnancy, a child listen, the voice he or she listens to resonate with him when he comes out. Maybe he's always listening to the father talking to the woman. So the way you talk to your wife while the child is in the womb, the child is hearing it from the womb. If you're an abusive father and you always abuse the mother, whether when she's pregnant, just know that the child is already having a kind of mindset, okay, this is how things happen. This is how my father talks to my mother. Also, when he grows up and he still sees that traces and sees maybe the father always shouting at the mother, he's already building up some traits. You understand? Because those are the things, apart from the gene and every other thing that determines the personality of a child, the environment, that's why I said the environmental factor. What he or she sees that, oh, a child that sees a home that grows with love, with compassion, there's no way that, apart from the child's personality, maybe that might be different, there's no way that will not have a larger part of the child's growing up. And a child that grows up in an environment, in an abusive environment, that there's no love, there's violence and everywhere, that child will grow up to be a violent adult. So I think this still boils down to, like what to say, that the parents should see themselves as the first person that determines the growing up of a child. Then let's now talk about the environment, the society, what we see in the society, like technology, schools and stuff like that. How can they help in the behavioral pattern of a child? Fine, maybe a child that is broken from home already. We agree that maybe the parent might have failed. How can the parent also not, as in maybe worsen this case? As how can they help in building a better child? Okay, go first. Yeah.
Okay. What you mentioned something earlier. You're talking about looking out, as in going out to work for the basic needs of the children. And what are the basic needs of the children?
Food, shelter, clothing,
money.
Yes.
We never talked about building them in the way of the Lord. When you build them, that is the key, the basic that I think is the key that the other things will now ride on. Because mostly all those people that have been raised at the other side, I said the body people, all what they need, they always look after is how to provide for my children. Are you providing spiritually for them? Are you prepared? Because what you instill in them, when they go out there, like what we are saying about the society, when they go out there, they will not be easily influenced. Like what he said, that the home determines what the child will become, but the society can influence. But when he instill that,
the fear of the Lord
in them, when they go out there, they will still stand their ground and always remember that.
So, sorry, let me now talk about this. We've seen cases whereby children that are raised, maybe I would like you to talk about children that are raised from a Christian home. Okay. You can really raised from a children home, went to missionary school, Christian-based primary school, secondary school, university. I still see them grow up to be, to do all sorts of things. So what can we say happens? Every morning they do devotion. You know, even at home they present themselves to be a saint at home, but when they get out there, they become something else. So what can you say about that?
Yeah, I like the word that are raised, but they are not trained.
They are raised, but they are not trained.
Right, so you can be raised and not trained. Yes. You know, to different than entirely.
So how can a child be trained?
Yes, so even though your father is a pope, if you are not trained, you will lack what is supposed to be. Now, the realities of the societies, we cannot shy away from it. And I was telling someone, I say, gadget. I say, listen, the space at which they are going to operate require the gadget. So how do you now say they should not touch gadget? There's a place of control. Most of the time we assume
they know it all.
Yes, especially a Christian home. Yes. I go to church, I take them. So we assume automatically that these things, they should know it. It should rub on them.
And maybe most of the time, because you are a clergyman, you shy away from the truth of what happens. You are not on social media. You don't know what happens in the technology world. You are not current, so you believe everything is just about spirituality. See, there is a place of maybe training them, like you said, training them some things, gadget, how to control some things your children watch, some things they have access to. I think, yes,
I will also add to this. You see, there's a place of control. That's the training, the control. If you don't put the control in any valve, it will continue to gush out water or fluid. There is a place of control. Now, my daughter was, let me use it because, like I said, I'm a parent. She was telling me something, Daddy, I want. I said, listen, that is not what determines life. Don't be influenced because this person have it. Because you are being in an environment where these things are not operating and you say you love it and the best of you come out. So what is it? Okay, tell me. How many of those things you've watched determine the way you answer your question in the class? He said no. How many of those things you watch determine how you talk to your friends, you know, in a good way? He said none of them. So you must be able to put a control. There's no gadget or whatever on his own is neutral. It's not bad. But we are the one to see how we make sure that it does not cause more harm for our children by putting a control valve. All right? You know, I saw my daughter do some, for example, came home to come and practice some assignment, how to open a Gmail. But I give him my laptop. And I saw that he has opened a Gmail.
By herself.
So I saw it. I said, come here, young girl.
How did you learn this?
How did you? He said, Daddy, it was from the school. It was what they taught me in school, I used, and I opened and I saw that, oh, okay, but there's still need for control so that you not go to somewhere else you are not supposed to go to. My 4-year-old boy is as smart as something else. You lock up your phone, you put it 1-2 times in his presence, he open it. So you must be able to know, don't put on in fact, they know how to put on the data by themselves. And those things pops up. And technological wise, when you go to some site, and then you don't know your child will pick up your phone, and some of those things you've done in the past pops up because you have visited that site. So imagine if it's a negative side. So it's still brought down to what parents also are exposed to. Do you know, because you're talking about environment, do you know that it is easy for Lagos State to shut down Chrisland? Let's talk about it. Easily. But have they shut down Big Brother Niger? And they have the say, they have the final say.
Yes. And do you know, I was saying something that this society is spoiled already because of bad parenting. Do you know that there are some parents that they even watch this Big Brother with their children? Yes. So you know, what kind of child do you think you are going to raise when you, as a parent, you don't know when to set boundaries? What are the things your children should be exposed to? Yes. I've seen a parent that is saying, okay, they are watching a kind of scene, and they were seated there, we were watching a movie, and we all seated there, and the children were there, and they were just laughing, and they were just showing this scene, and they were still there. I was like, what are you still doing here? The parents said, let them stay there because they will still watch it behind their head. So does that not mean you should not give them free access to watch this thing? You know, so as a parent, how should you now control? Okay, you know some values. That's where we lost our value system as a parent. You know, because we've lost our value system. We've lost our value system that, okay, this is right. These are the things that could affect. These things could affect the mindset of a child. I was telling my son, I said, see, I told him, that's why as a parent you should know what your children are watching. Yes. If they are on Instagram, I don't know the current app now that they are, try and be there. Even though these children, they are smart, they are going to use a different password code as a name, username, that you won't even know that they are the ones. But at the same time, try to be in their space. Try to move along with them as they are going, as they are advancing. So I told him, I said, okay, this movie you are watching, what kind of movie is it? He said, mommy, it's a good movie, it's an inspirational movie. Okay. I said, is there any bad thing there? He said, no, just at the end, at the kiss. I said, okay, if they are kissing, what do you do? He said, I fast forward it. I said, sure, you fast forward it. Okay, I might believe that he fast forwarded, but there will be a time, because curiosity of a child, they want, okay, what is even there? Let me even see it. I think it's not about just watching it, but the aftermath of what you watch. You watch a boy and a girl kissing themselves, not even a boy and a girl, a boy and a boy kissing themselves. Okay, after you finish watching the movie, what happens again? That thing is not just wait in your subconscious mind. What you have watched is in your subconscious mind. Once you are alone, there's no way that memory of what you watch, it will replay in your mind.
And even their parents might not have even educated them on such that, as in, you know, parents too need to let your child know the good from the right. The right. You know, when you have trained your child, you have educated your child that kissing, opposite sex kissing, or children kissing, it's not the right thing. This is not the right time for that. There is a time for that. And if the guy, the child knows about that, even when the guy, when the boy, as in, mistakenly burst into such, that what you told him or her about it, that no, it is not right time. What they are doing here, it's not right. But when the guy doesn't know, when the child doesn't know anything about that, the parent have not informed,
give him the right information,
about it. Because honestly, there's some on this our gadget, you just see some things popping up. Not that you are the one that went to visit the site, but if you have as in educate your child
once this thing pops up, don't even open. And once they open it once, they'll not be bringing it more and more.
That is it. Don't open. Sure, this thing happens. You know, that some things we shy away from some things. We let them know that yes, this thing happened, but it is not the right thing for you to do.
So don't even. Sex education is even important at a very early age.
Like what he said. He said they gave them assignment from the school to open Google. Why don't the school give them Google, children, the kids Google? Why the adults?
Yeah.
As an assignment. Because are they not informed that they are Google for kids?
For kids.
So why are you teaching them? Why are you giving them assignment for the adults? For the one that is meant for the adults? This society.
So that's where the place of the school also comes in.
Yes.
What do you as in, are you able to control what they operate as in the gadgets they use in school?
You see the reference I made to my daughter. Yesterday immediately I saw something that would be of help to the guy that have handled the ICT because they have a platform where they have children. I mean the parents. I quickly forward to him. I said, that information is that Android is not actually suitable for children, but if at all we are going to get it for them, the following should be observed. The person went on and wrote some articles on steps. Mentioned the place of control from parents. All of those things. So I said to him. Because some of them too, they don't know. You think they know, they don't know. You understand? So the exposure they have in the school system, how many hours do they stay in school? You understand? They give them, like your husband was saying, they give them internet access in school, and you are not there. So if they are not properly informed, the school system won't ask for, these are things to put as a control, so that the child will not go off and go and miss. There's a school, I don't want to mention the name, it's a university in the land. Some people talk and come online and whack their tongue. Why can a university will not be allowed to use a phone? As it should be when they are doing induction, they told them, and you accept. Why are you not shouting now? The person that says you should not use phone, he knows why you should not. Because the system, and it does not automatically guarantee that if they leave, some people that they are stoppers in their head, they will not misbehave when they graduate. So the environmental factor, the society at large. I mentioned the place of government. They have a role to play in creating a positive influencing environment. There is a country in Africa, one of the African countries, where you can't dress anyhow on the street. I think it's Rwanda, I don't know. They get you, they pick a lady, they will get you on. Why should, but here, they say it's free though. But now you can go and shut the system out. That means you accept that immoral is not good. But you put immorality on the screen for everybody, you can't control. You can't control.
They have access to what
they
see. What they see,
you know and you value these children. It should be from what they are exposed to. You should start from what they are exposed to. This one has been censored and it cannot go on air.
A society that encourages immoralities, as in society that give accolades to people. So some celebrities that what they did,
their moral value is zero.
Is zero. They signed them as ambassador. There was one signing as an ambassador of construction company, whereby there is a civil engineer out there, the best student in a university, and still moving around with ease.
Do you know that has to boils down to individual. What do we celebrate? We celebrate immorality. We celebrate things that don't even have value, because it has like followers. Look at all the celebrities now. Can you really say you want to pattern your child's life in line with
them? Sorry for cutting you. This thing, can you really say? There was a program I watched on TV, and they said, "Who is your role model?" That's the topic. Who's your role model? People are talking name. I don't want to mention name now because there's a particular, musician who has gone, who is dead, and somebody said, "I want to be my role model." And they now ask him, "Would you like your child to be like?" He said, "No, I cannot be." He said, "No." He said, "Who is a hero? Who is an hero?" That's the question. Then I said, "This person is a hero." He said, "Nigerian hero." Okay, will you like your child to be like that? Like he said, "No." I said, "Why are you now calling him hero?" That's the value system that they distorted. So what, like you said, what do people celebrate? What do we put out is important? Society should be able to in a workplace, in the church, in anywhere you find yourself, what is good is Oda should be embraced as Oda.
Yes.
Finally, you have to be intentional as a parent to train your child. It doesn't have to be the whole day. Find 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes with them. Make sure you are intentional. There is something you want to achieve. And building them in the way that they should go, in the way of the Lord. When they grow up, absolutely and correctly, they will not depart from it, and the Lord will help you.
Okay, over to you, Ma.
Yes, thank you so much. I want us to know that. I want us to know that parenting is a work. I want us to always have it in our mind that parenting is not a joke, but it's a real work. And also, we must always put parenting as a primary not secondary, because the mistakes most of the parents we made is we take parenting as the secondary and we look for the primary first. No, let the parenting be primary and not secondary. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much for joining me this morning. We are still going to continue about it because, you know, we can't finish it up in a day. We still have to continue this. We need to keep talking about it. We need to keep educating ourselves about this so that we know that in building a society, building a saner society start from the kind of home we are building, and it starts from individual in the home. So thank you very much for joining us this week. Join us again next week as we continue this series, Raising a 21st Century, Challenges of Raising a 21st Century Child. My name is Bumi Alabi, and I'm the host, and I'll be right here again, God willing, next week. Thank you very much. On Facebook, thank you everyone that's joined us. I believe you've been able to learn something today. I really celebrate you all, and I think I've been able to read some of your contribution. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you very much. Till I come your way again next week. Bye.
Bye.